says, for Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. Again, this is a very simple verse, but when I'm reading the Bible and I'm meditating on it, I'm trying to go deeper. Sarah conceived for the first time, well, that we know of. We don't know if she had miscarriages, but this is the first time that she's conceiving a child that is born. And so my question is, how did Sarah react to this news? How did she react to the idea of conceiving a baby? How did she even know she was pregnant? When she found out she was pregnant, how did she react? How did Abraham? Because it's one thing for God to tell you something is going to happen. It's another thing to experience it happen. Like, exactly, Sarah had laughed when she heard God's promise. And we're going to get to that. That's the tone change. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. But now, you are beginning to feel the physical manifestation. Now you're feeling kicks in your tummy. Abraham now is giving you attention. Like, oh my goodness, can you imagine God has done this? But again, I feel like when we read stories like this, we can focus on Abraham and Sarah. But the other question I had was, how did Hagar react to Sarah becoming pregnant? Oh, I like that. Create, Inspire, Repeat says, could she have been watching out since she was told a year ago that it would happen around springtime? I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Because faith is not just believing. Faith is also taking action based on belief. And so if God has told you you're going to be pregnant, guess what? They were probably having intercourse and they were checking to see if something had stuck. So I like that. I like that. Let me post that on here. I like that. I like that. But again, another question is, how did Hagar react to the news that Sarah was now pregnant? Imagine, like Ishmael at this point, remember Abraham had him at age 86. Abraham is now age 100, which means Ishmael is between 13 and 14, depending on the month, right? So for 14 years, 13 to 14 years, Hagar had been, the one with the thing that Sarah could never give Abraham. She had a child. She had a son. Abraham had an heir. Abraham had an heir that Sarah could never give him at the time. But now Sarah is pregnant. How is Hagar taking this news? For the longest time, she thought, my son is going to be the heir. No competition. All of a sudden, now, Sarah is about to have a child that is going to rival her son. Remember, Hagar grew up as a slave. So to her, this is like her lottery ticket. She had never, ever thought that she would be at this stage or with this status that she gave birth for Abraham. Her leverage was about to go. She probably felt threatened. Like, she probably started praying to God that Isaac would not come. Oh, that's why, which is why, not every good news needs to be shared immediately. You only share good news when it has taken roots. Because when a seed has taken roots, the fruit is automatic. You can't stop it then. Unless you go and uproot it. Right? But Hagar was probably praying. I don't know which God she was praying with or praying to. That, man, this child cannot make it. Unfortunately for her, God was in a covenant. Exactly. I like that, Clara. She might have felt left out because Abraham, she was still having conversations with Abraham at this point because they had a child together. Now she's thinking, will Abraham still see me as special or as anything if he now has a child? Like now I'm about to go back to slave status. Because now it looks like Abraham is going to begin treating me like he was treating me before I had a child. Because now he has a child. So all these things are probably going through Hagar's mind. Right? Another question I had is, how did Sarah react to Hagar's reaction? Right? Because it's one thing for Hagar to react. Now, Sarah, who had been barren for over 90 years, saw Hagar give Abraham what she couldn't give him. Hagar is treating her with contempt. Like, you can't have a child. I just gave your husband what you couldn't give him. Now, Sarah has that child. How do you think Sarah responded? Did she try to treat Hagar with contempt now? The same way Hagar treated her? Is it possible? That now Sarah is flaunting her big stomach, like, I have a child now. Like, you see how we could just have walked past this verse. Exactly. Could pride have set in? Exactly. We could have walked past this verse. For Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son. Big deal. But there's a lot in here. There's a lot happening here. Right? It's the same way there was a time I tried a long fast where... Thanks so much for watching. Recently I started doing a live Bible study class every single day between 6 to 7 p.m. on TikTok and YouTube. And so if you're ready to discover the things that are hidden underneath what is written, then definitely join us. It's been an amazing experience so far. We're currently studying the books of Genesis, and then right after we're going to go into the 4 Gospels, the book of Acts, and the letter of Paul to the Romans. And I believe that is critical because so many people are looking for direction in life. What is my purpose? The Bible says that your word is like a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Revelation is going to be your most critical asset as a Christian. And so definitely check it out. All the live replays are currently on YouTube. So if you haven't seen them, I would suggest and recommend that you go check them out. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.